Welcome back, folks. Sorry for the delay. I know I said I wanted one video a week, but I got sick, so I'm gonna have to break that promise and upload a video at least a couple days late. Now, getting back to that, we're gonna be talking about the toxicity that we see in gaming, specifically modern gaming. We will touch upon like the older stuff, but right now we're gonna make a point on why people are so toxic in modern games. And I want to break this open with toxicity towards casual gamers, and no better clip could be used to highlight this problem than the one I'm about to show you.
That guy fucking sucked. Sometimes I wonder how people get by in life, like gaming like shit. I don't care what they did. Go play another fucking game and get better. Jesus Christ. Still, it doesn't matter. For the sake of your own fucking like pride, like are you not a prideful person? Do you have no dignity? I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the people that are. I'm talking about the people that are really bad. Like not like average or
running left. To the right a little bit.
Whoa!
That's in the tent.
I died to Shroudy.
Shroudy.
So, I don't know this game. I'm not super familiar with it, but it says that they can't hear that he's coming with the helmet on. I'm assuming because he doesn't have headphones. Seems to be a more extraction game like Tarkov, and that's totally fine, right? And then after Shroud kills him, he decides to go on this tirade about how people shouldn't be playing games if they're bad at them.
What do you mean?
by that I mean like it's fine to game like shit and you play the games that you know that you can be shit at, but playing like multiplayer games and knowing your shit is fucking crazy.
What the hell?
It actually blows my mind.
And even one of his friends goes like, "Hey man, what if he just got off work?"
Dude, but what if they just got off work?
I don't care what
Fed
they
their
did.
3
Go play
kids.
another fucking game and get better. Jesus Christ.
What the
Nobody
heck?
wants to play this shitty ass fucking, shit
But
with
if there's,
shit.
like, if there's like MMR, you won't ever face those guys after a certain point again.
And then Shroud proceeds to continue to belittle this player. Now, this isn't just common with Shroud. This is common amongst the entire gaming sphere, and I really think that that is something that isn't talked about enough. Because myself even, I dabble in shooters every now and then. Primarily, the one that I play the most of right now is Marvel Rivals. And whenever I try to play a new character, almost every single time, somebody will be like, "Why are you playing X character? You're doing terrible. Switch." And this is in casual. I don't understand that mentality because, one, I usually do say, like, God forbid somebody has a bad day, or God forbid that somebody wants to try a new character. They don't want to just be put in a little box where they have to play one character. They want to learn multiple. But also it's quick play. Like, if someone was doing that in ranked, that's one thing, because, like, this entire case we're making is towards, like, casual, non-ranked things, especially in Call of Duty and like, Siege and stuff like that, but primarily focused towards COD, because they have a ranked system, but people will play the casual version and then treat it like it's life or death. And it's really hard to understand when games were designed to be fun. And so to dive into this problem, I've kind of gone in and decided to check up on people, I guess. I wouldn't really say that I did any extensive interviews. I just played and then talked about the things that I found interesting. The most I see is when people are playing Black Ops 6 or any other game that has voice chat and it's moderated. And then once it's banned, or once they are banned, people will complain being like, "I didn't even say anything that bad," or like, "Back in my day, back in the Black Ops 1 and the Modern Warfare 2, like, original, like, that would have been allowed." But that's not the roast you think it is. If you're banned, that is a waving red flag of homophobia, racism, transphobia, all of these things, which you might have thought were hilarious when you were 12 because you were edgy and 12. But now we're all older. If a 12-year-old says it, then fine, because they're going through that stage in their life. It's not excusable, but it's definitely like, oh, you know, their brain is still developing. But if I hear like somebody over the age of 24 say it, I'm like, damn, you have not grown as a person since you were a child. The shock value gets really old once you get older. It's part of the reason why I haven't hung out with some of the people that I used to hang out with and be close friends with, because that was their comedy, and they almost started only saying that. They used to say like the N-word when we were playing like Siege in custom lobbies, or calling people that when we were playing, and I never approved of it back then, and it really bothered me. And then eventually I just stopped hanging out with them because I was getting older and I realized that stuff isn't funny, and they are getting worse. Like they say it more and more as the years go on. It's actually fascinating. My personal favorite is when you are creative. When you want to I'm not saying you can't rage. You can't get angry at someone and you can't roast them. But you have to be creative. Saying the attack helicopter, calling somebody a nerd, saying the N-word, those are all generic, like, reach into their bowl and pull out a piece of paper. We've heard them 1,000 times over. My personal favorite to throw at people is this.
Why don't you go build a bridge and jump off it?
I think that goes pretty hard, and I think that more insults should be like that. And that's why when people do have creative insults, it actually makes me laugh or something. It just makes me feel more. If somebody just calls me the N-word or calls me a nerd or attack helicopter or whatever, I don't care. Of course it like bothers me, but it doesn't bother me because I'm saying, oh, that deeply cut me. It goes, damn, that's pathetic, dude. You're 24 and that's the only insult you can come up with. And that's lowballing. Like, there are people above that age range who are still making those jokes. It's like, are you gonna add anything to that? Or like, I'm waiting for the punchline, buddy. And that's just what I wanted to get around to. Like, I don't understand how people think that that's cool.
Swearing doesn't make you cool.
They excuse it, and then they're like, well, why can't I scream in the voice chat? Gaming is going down the road. Legalized comedy, am I right? And it's like, no, you just have to actually build your jokes now, instead of just screaming a slur. And I think that's a big part of the voice chat reason why people are like super toxic, is they are angry they can't just say these hateful things, and therefore they continue to just lash out at people around them. But that's totally might not be the case at all. My next point, everyone wants to be the best, because before the launch of Twitch in 2011 and esports gaining popularity around the same time, when people were tryharding in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, other competitive shooters about that scene, but they were public instead of like actual events, people would just kind of point and laugh. You would just roll your eyes and go, oh, he's a tryhard, and then move on. Nobody cared. But then the lockdowns hit, and then Twitch and esports gained popularity, and everyone stopped and was like, I want to be the next Shroud. I want to be the next Ninja. I want to be the next Doc. Oh, nope. And it's crazy because this comes with a responsibility. Like, if you want to be a content creator, before you get big, you have to be willing to put in the effort to edit your videos and make sure that things aren't copyrighted and all these other things. Or if you want to stream, you have to make sure that you're doing it constantly. Even I am a horrid example of how I just do not like streaming for long periods of time. And for the average person who might just have a 9-to-5, they can't do that. And that's totally fair. But that want to be popular, that want to rise to fame, still has this snowball effect of making people want to try hard so that they do good, so that they're noticed. And it pushes this culture of, well, now there's more tryhards in your games, so I'm gonna try hard. That's why skill-based matchmaking is so, like, noticeable. Because if you do good in one game, you go up and it's just a lobby full of sweats. Whereas before, when that wasn't the case, you'd have like one tryhard and everyone would just kind of point and laugh, call it a day, move on. It's part of the reason why the Call of Duty community specifically, this applies to other games, but I like using Call of Duty because it's so applicable, is completely divided, because there's the people who play casually and just want to get off work and play the game, and then other people who want to play it like competitively. And that you have these two categories that are always butting heads, and then whenever Activision tries to please one of them, the other gets angry, and you can't really make both happy. Because one side doesn't like the slide canceling, and the sliding at all even, and the skins, this particularly the goofy ones, and the other side of that is they like the slide, they like the speed, they don't want the tactical slowness, they want the go 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 go. And they like the skins because when they win, they get to show off this big fancy skin, and they get to be unique, they get to stand out, which probably makes them feel better about winning, which pushes them to want to win more. Whereas the people who don't really care too much about winning and just want to play slow and have fun usually don't care about skins, because they're just there to play the game because they just got home, they want to play. And I think that it's very interesting because it also has this side effect of the competitive people don't really care about the atmosphere or the world building of the game, so the skins are always like goofy and silly, and the campaign might have this really gritty, grounded concept and story, but they don't care about that. Whereas the casual players will play the campaign and they care about that, and they wish that the multiplayer reflected the story that the campaign told. And this is applicable to other games. Not all, but a lot of them. And it's really interesting specifically because of just how people want these differences, but now there's this shift. I do think it's just because like kids like fast-paced things, and as we're getting older, we're getting closer to the coffin. Kids are taking our plays and wanting to play games, and they want to go fast, 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 go, go, go. They got them TikTok brains where they have the attention span of like a newt. They can't sit around and play like Tarkov or Minecraft or just any slower game. They have to have a game where it's action, 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 go, 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 go. Finally, I'd like to talk about the insult that comes up very frequently because I think is dumb, and it is my last section: aim trainers. When people say in the chat, Aim Labs is free, you are outing yourself as a loser. And I would like to talk about this from the perspective as a Rust player. I have 2,300 hours of Rust as of recording this video. I'm not particularly great at it, but the biggest debate is from pre-recoil and after recoil. What they did is they had a more CSGO-like aiming system, and it would yank your mouse, not literally, but it would yank your cursor when you shot, and it was really hard to learn because you would have to learn to counter that pattern. Unlike CSGO, it was a lot more violent and therefore harder for the casual player to just pick up and learn. And they introduced an update that made the recoil a lot more like Call of Duty. And they haven't reverted it, thankfully. And they did that so that the game would have longevity, because if you chase off new players with steep learning curves, especially a game like Rust where it's kind of like it's a survival game, but it plays almost like a battle royale, you're not going to have a good time as a new player because the people who play it all the time are just going to have that steep curve, and they're just going to stomp you. A good example would be when before, if you defeated a guy, took his weapon, and went to shoot his teammate, but the recoil was too difficult for you to master, you'd miss and then he would turn and defeat you. But after, you could pick up the fallen enemy's weapon and use it against the teammate and be successful because the recoil is a lot more manageable. And people who played before and think that the recoil before is better always said you could just go to UKN, which is a server that is Rust's equivalent of AIM Labs, which is it's a downloadable software in which I would say it's a game, but it's not. You can simulate the recoil of different games and then just run around and shoot at targets as if they were players. And people are always saying the term AIM Labs is free because they say, go play that. But to a casual player, some like who only has maybe 2 hours to play a day, why would you want to spend 10 minutes? That's being very generous. Some of these people spend hours. There was somebody I ran into on Rust who said he had 10k hours on the game, and he had 5k just on the aim training.
You what?
Just think about that. You have 5,000 hours just on the aim training. I wouldn't want to play a game where I am not allowed to just enjoy the game, booting up and playing it. I think that there are some things that should have a learning curve. I don't think every game you should just be able to pick up and master. But if it's so hard to master that it's chasing away new players, then that's not a good game mechanic, and that's just a thing that people are going to exploit so that they can feel good about themselves. Because they just can stomp on all the newbies and they can't fight back. The thing is, like, when you're turning to a different game, like Marvel Rivals, and you're telling somebody AIM Labs is free, you're kind of forgetting that games are supposed to be fun, and therefore, you're ruining it for both of you by comparing your stats to theirs, to constantly being like, no, you can't use this weapon, you can't use this character because you're bad with this character. Especially in quick play. Because it's like, why do you care? They're trying to have fun, and you're ruining it telling them to play an aim trainer. Fucking Derek, who just got off his 9-hour shift and has 2 hours to play before his wife comes home and he got put the kids to bed, isn't going to want to spend a half hour on an aim trainer just so that he can play in quick match. When you do that sort of thing and say that to those kinds of people, you're not only ruining it for yourself, but you're ruining it for them. And that's kind of ruining the entire point of the hobby. If you're building Lego and you are building something and somebody else is building something, you guys can enjoy the same thing differently. But the second you point at their thing and go, you're not allowed to build it that way, you have to go look up other things to build it, and then you can come play. That's childish. That's dumb. And comparing yourself to others is only going to steal the joy from your own experience. Theodore Roosevelt, I'm pretty sure. And that's, I think, as a whole, all of these points combined, why toxicity is getting, I think, worse in gaming, really. I thought that it was not, but I thought about that from pre-lockdown to after, and it really does seem like as time goes on, people are complaining about being, put under restrictions on what they can say in the voice chat, or continuously, once again with Marvel Rivals, people, or I'll even go Helldivers. I love Helldivers, but there's been a couple times where I'm off doing a side mission on the level 7. I do play at 10, but I usually will turn it down to 7 when I want to go help people and I want to just relax. And sometimes I will go off and do side objectives while the main group does the main mission. And sometimes I'll just get kicked out of nowhere. I don't get a word. I don't get anything. They'll just kick me because from my best assumption, I'm not performing to an ability that they like. That also happens in COD Zombies a lot too. If you're not performing to a level that they like, they will just kick you. They'll get rid of you. And I think that sucks because that's an enjoyment stealer for not only the person who gets kicked, but the person doing the kicking, because you're just comparing yourself. I don't know. I it's just something I wanted to talk about. Is there any really solutions that I could actually come up with? No, not really, because people who want to be toxic via voice chat are going to always exist. They're going to always want to say slurs, they're going to say racist stuff, and unfortunately they think they're hilarious. So there's not really anything you can do about that other than ban them and report their voice chat when it comes up. When it comes to wanting to be the best, that's just the state of modern gaming. People don't really want, even some people just don't think casual gaming should exist, like that people should just go play single player games, which is totally not the point. If you want to play something multiplayer, it is so you can either play with friends or so you can play it against other people. You don't have to want to be the best, you just might enjoy playing against other people, and that's good, that's fine. That doesn't hurt anyone. And finally, the aim trainers. The only solution I have for that is stop saying it. You're just outing yourself. You are outing yourself as a loser, and if you're telling other people but you don't use it, then you're just being a hypocrite, because there's no way that you're hitting every single shot. You can always improve, you can always be better, but because you're telling other people, it's because you think you're better than them. And you're not, because you're never going to be a pro league player unless you actually strive to do it and work towards. But if you're just playing your games and you're not focusing on that goal and you're telling people to get better, then you're just being a hypocrite, and stop doing it. Because it doesn't make the gaming space better, it just makes it worse, and it makes people not want to play. Because there are so many games that people want to play but probably stay away from because of stuff like this. Like R6, Apex, PUBG, Call of Duty. There are some people that just avoid playing video games altogether because they don't want to deal with the toxicity, or they mute game chat. Another game that I'm going to come into after talking about it previously is Rust. I love the game, I hate the community, because it is so toxic. There are some people who just play with the mic off. They turn the voice chat off in the game, which is a large portion of the game. Like, how I got into it was watching people have fun interactions, like, you know, talking to each other, yelling at each other, yada yada, through the game. But people who turn their mics off cut themselves out of that experience, and then what's left for them? To be competitive. And then they want to be the best, and it's just like a never-ending cycle of games where people will avoid playing it because they don't want to deal with the toxicity, or they will turn their voice chat off, and then they will just make assumptions by comparing themselves, their stats, to other people's, and that's not healthy. So in the end of it, I don't think there's a solution, but I think that you should just take a step back if you're about to rage at someone, and just think if it's worth it, if it's going to ruin their day, if you're upset because they're doing worse than you. And if you're going to insult someone, at least come up with a creative insult.